Hi everyone, I hope everybody is doing wonderfully today. I am going to do one today that is similar to the last one I did, which I would show you, except I just sealed it yesterday, so it's still on the board, sort of curing. I don't even see one I can show you. Alright, so it's like the one I did in video number 55, which was the one before this one. At least I think. I get these video numbers mixed up sometimes. What I'm going to do anyway is I'm going to put down the ink, just the ink, and let it dry, or I'm going to dry the ink. And then the last one I did was I did a lot of, just tilting and then blowing to spread my alcohol once I went back and added the alcohol. Well, I want to do it the same way, except instead of blowing on it, I'm going to use my dryer, my Revlon styling brush hair dryer. I don't remember the exact name of it. There's a link in the drop down description box below, but I just took the brush attachment off the end and works great. So I'm going to try this today instead of blowing on it. I love the way it looked with blowing on it, but what I don't like is I don't like sucking in those deep breaths to blow with all these alcohol fumes coming off of this. I actually have a respirator that I use when I'm not doing something for you all that I'm going to need to be talking during the video. I've started using a respirator with it, which, would probably be a very good idea, especially if you've got any kind of lung issues. You definitely want to use a respirator, and make sure that you get, if you get one, I'll show you. I don't have the filters on here right now that I need to have on here. I keep them in a bag when I'm not using them, and the girls wanted to put this on. They wanted to see it with the filters. So these are not the filters that you need for fumes, for vapors. This is the N95 filter that will filter out dust and pollen, little particulates. Would be, this is what they're recommending. Like right now while I'm filming this, it's the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and everybody's been, stay-at-home orders and all that. The N95 filters are good for that, because you're trying to filter out particulates. Like if somebody sneezes and you don't want to breathe in the little, that just makes me sick to think about it, breathe in little specks of their saliva that flies out of their mouth. So anyway, there is another filter. This brand that I have is called Honeywell. Right at the moment that I'm filming this, you cannot get these. They're totally out of stock. But I'll see if I can find some one day and put a link somewhere. But the filter that I use when I'm going to be doing resin, or when I am wearing it when I'm doing the alcohol inks, is a P100 filter. Now that's pretty much the lowest rated filter that you want to use if you want to filter out harmful vapors, like the volatile organic compounds and the gaseous vapors. And there's actually stronger filters than that you can buy, but the P100 are fine for what we're doing, based on my research anyway, because I researched this for a couple of months before I got anything. So I wanted to make sure that I was protected without, I didn't want to have to pay $200 or $300 for a mask and some filters. Although it's still, I can't remember how much it ended up costing. Seems like I want to say maybe $80 or so US for the the mask came with those N95 filters with it, and I had to separately order the P100 filters for it. Got some sticky on my hands. So that did cost a little bit more, but I think total it was somewhere around $80 for the whole get up. So anyway, that's not what this is about. So, okay, so I'm going to be, yes, using my dryer, and once I get down the ink, I'm going to go back with the alcohol. That's what's in this bottle. This is 99% isopropyl alcohol. I'll go back and add my alcohol and probably some of my Piñata brass. You see here, if you're going to order it, it comes in a bottle. I like to get it like this, in this bigger bottle. You can, now this is Ranger brand, Tim Holtz Ranger brand inks, but you can get the Piñata inks, the Piñata brand. You can get the brass in a bottle like this, but I use so much of it that after the first time I bought it, I decided I was just better off to go with the bigger bottle. And I just put it in a needle nose bottle like this. You can find these on Amazon. They come in a pack of 10 or 15 or however many you want to get. And I don't add anything to this. This is just straight Piñata brass right out of the bottle. No alcohol or anything like that's added to it. I'm going to do it on yupo today. This is medium weight yupo. This Legion brand is the one that I use when I'm using yupo. This is my favorite one because it works good. It does stain, like no matter what type of yupo product you're using, it does stain. But this Legion brand is a little bit less expensive than some of the things out there. There are, lots of things that don't stain, but be very careful when you're buying something like that. Research it first, because I've noticed some of the art papers are getting really expensive, and which really bothers me. I think it's because alcohol inks are becoming a more popular medium to use, and I have been very unpleasantly surprised with the expense that is getting involved with these. No type of art is going to be cheap, but, well, very little. If you want quality things, you're going to pay for them. But I have not been real thrilled to see some of the brands that I have used in the past, and when I've gone back to reorder, have been kind of like, good grief, what happened to that? Because yupo used to be the most expensive thing that you could get to paint on for alcohol inks, and now it's actually one of the cheapest, other than the Graphics craft plastic, which I cannot find right now. I haven't been able to for a couple of weeks, in the 9x12 size, which this is 9x12 yupo. I can find it in the 12x12, but not the 9x12. So I don't know what the deal is with that. So hopefully I'll be able to track some of that down soon, because I am almost out. Alright, colors today, I don't know. I haven't decided. So I don't know if I will end up using all of these or not. Let me set that here. Let me move that. Time to replace my little pad here. I just wanted to go with red, yellow, spectrum today. So I'll tell you what I've got set out here, and then we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to use. Alright, so I've got crimson, and all of these are the Tim Holtz Ranger brand. Sunshine yellow, salmon, coral, sunset orange, and currant, which I don't know that I'm going to use. Cranberry, not currant. I'm not sure I want something that dark in it, but I set it out here just in case, because I never know what I'm going to do. So we'll see, and I just have to decide now where I want to put them down. I'm going to do this like I did the last one. I'm sorry, you will be hearing the hairdryer running in this one. because it's easier for me to not do the voiceovers because I forget about things that I think of when I'm working that I want to tell you all about. And so it's just simpler, and you're probably getting more information. Even though you're having to listen to the hairdryer, you can always mute your video for a few minutes while the dryer's on. But I feel like I'm forgetting too much that I wanted to be sure to tell you when I'm working on it. So, alright, so sorry for the big, 10-minute intro there about everything. Alright, so today, I'm gonna start in the center, and I'm gonna, I don't know, go someplace with it. We'll see. I don't know where I'm going yet. We'll go someplace with it. And I am going to be, like I said, using the dryer. You will have to hear it. So with these, if you didn't see the last one that I did like this, I am going to just make sort of lines with my ink and then dry that and then come back and work it with the alcohol. Maybe. Apparently my ink is stopped up. Not sure what's up with that. There we go. Ended up getting a little more than I meant to there. It's okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit of alcohol down by it, just enough to where I can kind of spread this a little bit. And you can see I did get some of these little fingers in here, but since I know I'm coming back to rework that, doesn't really matter. Although it is going to stain underneath where that is. So you just have to kind of try and hide it or let it be. I mean, it's not... Sometimes that I like yupo because of the staining. Because it just kind of adds something. It adds a depth to your painting a little bit. Although it does change your color that you're putting down too. What was that? That was crimson. This is the sunset orange. And I don't think I'm going to add any alcohol to that just yet. Alright, so you can see I put it super close to the crimson to where it's sort of, I've already got it a little blend going on it right there. I hope y'all can see that. Because I want it to blend good anyway. I'm going to go, alright, I'm going to take the sunset orange again. And I'm just going to come through there with it. Sorry, my dryer keeps getting hung on something down here. Alright. So, I'm going to try the coral, maybe. I should have probably done this on some heavyweight yupo because I think that doing this style is going to work better if I use a heat setting from the dryer. And I can't do that for more than just a second or two at a time because this is the medium weight yupo, but we'll see how this works. That was the coral again. This is the Sunshine Yellow. Sorry, I should have planned this out a little better before I turned on the video. It's not like it really matters all that much, but yes, for some reason I'm just agonizing over where I put it. Now with a color like salmon, got out of it, it's super light and pastel. So you are probably going to end up needing to use more of it than you would think to get it to show up really good. It's just kind of a matter of taste too, but I like this color, so I'll probably use a decent amount of it. But for some reason salmon's one of those that has some funky smell to it. A lot of times I don't notice a smell to the inks, but some of the colors have just got a scent that comes out. This crimson, it was such a dark color. I should have done less of that. This is when I tell y'all about colors that where one drop, you could do an entire painting with one drop. You can see how, I think you can, how it's built up there. You've got these really thick, dark, sort of wet looking, shiny lines. That's a good indication of too much ink. Now that'll start spreading out as I go back with the alcohol, but if you have too much of this, you're going to, especially if it's dried for too long, you're going to notice flakes that are going to start coming up, but just where like chunks of this come up instead of it just reactivating and dissolving. Little chunky pieces of it start coming up. Kind of funny. I keep forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing, and I, want to try and spread out my ink, and that's not what I need to be doing right now. I can pretty much already tell y'all a mistake that I've made. And it's not a mistake, it's just not going to be exactly what I had, was thinking about trying to do as I was putting this down, is I've got way too much ink on here. It's what I wanted, something that was a little bit thinner and more negative space, but this is because I'm going to have to really try and spread that most likely. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to end up being more than what I wanted, but we'll play with it. I'm going to go ahead and just play with it like it is, and then see if I need to come back and add anything anywhere or not. Sorry, one of the drawbacks of me not doing a voiceover, you all have to watch me drink my coffee, or hear me drink my coffee. Alright, this is my Piñata brass, just shaking it up good. One of the questions I had was, did I need to put metal balls in this to shake it? No, you don't. I've never done that. I actually have a couple that, because this bottle I emptied the last time I filled this up, and there was a couple in there, and I could put them in here, but I mean, I really don't have any trouble getting it to shake up in there. And the only thing I'm concerned about with putting the little metal balls in there is whether or not they would tip up into here, but I don't think so. As I'm looking at this, I think this little lip, on the bottle down there at the bottom would catch it, keep it from going up in there unless you were just turning it upside down or something. Let's see. Start in the middle. Start working on some of this mess right here. Too much. Too much. Yeah, this is a little bit what I was afraid of. It's working, but on the cool setting, it takes so much longer for the alcohol and ink to dry that you can't just kind of take and blow it in and then, you know, come from the sides and you're pretty much done. Just hit it with the hot and finish off any little places. It wants to blow it. It's not drying it fast enough. But like I said, if I do it on the heat, I'm going to end up having a problem with warping. So we'll see. We'll see what it comes out with in the end. I think I might have had a little, I know I had too much brass, but I may have had a little too much alcohol on that too. Let's see. I'm having an almost impossible time getting like one drip of brass to go on there. So I still wanted to do this just to get a little bit of that blend and start getting some of the brass picked up. When you hear me flipping this around, I'm putting it on hot for just a second to try and get a little of it to dry up a little bit faster. Sorry, I had to blow on it there for just a second. I was trying to spread out that brass and then it'll stick to the paper. Definitely don't need 2 drops of brass. That was too much. Some of y'all may have already spotted one thing that I have forgotten to do that I did in the last one is when I put the brass down, I was letting it sit for just a second to let all the little bits float to the top, and I have been forgetting to do that. So it's just, I mean, it's similar, but it's a little different if you don't give it some time. You can see just how much, I mean, the salmon is almost disappearing in here. It's just such a light color, but it's so pretty. I really wanted it in there. I may see if I can darken this side up any. This way. Once again, too much, but it just wanted to drip. Yeah, I'm really not loving the salmon, y'all. I'm gonna have to figure something out with that. It's just almost disappearing in there. Alright. Remember to wait a second this time. Let's see if I can get it. I think I showed y'all this the last time, but can you kind of see how it's starting to float? You can see it gets shinier, more mirrored looking on there. See, you still have some underneath, but at least you've gotten some of it to come to the surface, and that's what will float around and give you those little veins and lines and things that you want. Darn it, y'all let me forget again. Managed to get one drop that time. And I'm remembering to wait. Sorry, just giving it a little bit of a blow to try and loosen up that stuff that was stuck to the paper. It's kind of strange for me to have to keep turning this off because I generally just leave it on 90% of the time when I'm painting. That's kind of funny turning it off. See, this is more of the salmon color out in here, and I'm just not sure how well I can get that to work, but we'll see. I think it needs something else in there with it. See, I may end up coming back out with a little more yellow or something like that out here. Well, I can get worked what I've got down already, though. One thing to mention real quick, you all probably couldn't see it, and it didn't affect this time. My alcohol dripped. It dripped out here, luckily, but I've had it do that before and not noticed it, like when it's right up near a part of the painting I don't want to touch with alcohol. And if that happens and you notice it, be sure you wipe it off, because otherwise, if you hit it with your hair dryer or anything, it's going to blow that into something else, even if you think it won't. Even though I'm working out here, if I had dripped something over here, I would need to get that off before I blew anything, or chances are good I'm going to end up with a streak going through where I don't want one. You all may decide you like this way better because you don't have to hear me talk near as much. It's a little hard for me to talk and work at the same time. I just get too into what I'm doing, so I forget that I'm supposed to be talking to you all sometimes. Or I'm thinking, planning out, steps ahead that I want to do. That was the sunshine yellow again. It's just too much orange right here. I want to try and break that up a little bit with something that's not just orange. Forgot to let it sit and float a little. See, I need some out here. I didn't even get my alcohol in the right place on that one. Sorry, I'm just trying to get that alcohol to move right there. If y'all can see this, got to be real careful of this, where I'm just trying to put one drop down. I frequently get that little last extra drop running down the tip of the bottle, and if you're not careful, you'll end up with a drip of it where you don't want it, which you've already seen happen to me today. See, it just ran right down through there. So keep a paper towel handy and just swipe it off. letting that sit for a second. So I don't see any reason why you can't do this either way, either blowing on it or using the dryer, a combination of all of the above, which is kind of what I'm doing. But blowing on it, I can focus the air down onto that brass a little bit better to help lift it off of the paper a little bit more and spread it, get it in the alcohol better. I was just putting a little bit out there because I want to pull that color out just a little more if I can. So I think I might get prettier fades with the just blowing on it. It's not, because the high airflow on the dryer is not, or it's so spread out that it wants to spread the alcohol and ink out a lot. And it tends to overpower whatever color I'm trying to blend it into right there. Or maybe it's just me. I definitely need more practice with this. That's for sure. How many of you went, nope, don't put that on yet? Trying to keep it wet out there so that it doesn't dry with too much of a hard line. I'm not going to put any more brass out here. I missed the little tip of this, and I don't want to end up with it marked like that out there. So I'm just going to use a little alcohol, although it's probably stained. So let's see. Yep, stained. You will end up with that all over your finger if you do like me. I put my finger on the lid and shake it, so you got to be careful not to get too much on your painting. I've already gotten some on it. I never put my alcohol on this side, but for some reason I keep doing that today. Just about to lose all the coral in there, but that's alright. Got quite a bit of orange right here anyway, so let's see what we can do. I don't know why I was shaking my alcohol. No clue. Sorry, trying to blow that ink up a little, or the brass up a little. The only thing about yupo, I like the staining because it gives you some shade underneath. But when you're working with a super light color, it's kind of like there's nothing left except the stain. By the time you try to, wisp it and spread it a little bit, it's almost impossible to get that harder edge off of it. And that kind of drives me crazy sometimes. Now I'm trying to pick up some of that red down in there. I gotta keep it. See, I don't like that. That's bothering me. If y'all can see it, the little squiggles in here, I just don't like that. That's just me. I mean, actually, I don't know. I like the way it looks with the gold, the brass, Piñata brass. What I don't like is the thicker line of ink that's running along behind the brass right there. I don't think that there's even anything that I can do about that at the moment. Let's see. So if you kind of, you know, bend your paper in like that, sometimes it's a little easier to control where your alcohol goes. Trying to pick up some of those. Okay, here's why you need to clean up. That's why you need to not work on something like this. You see, my alcohol ran off the edge of the paper and it reactivated something down here, some kind of purplish color, and that may have ended up staining my yupo purple or blue down there. Yeah, I'm getting ready to do the same thing again. Let's see. Yeah, I can see just the faintest hint of blue. Yeah, got pretty much most of it, but once that's, yeah, I don't think you can see that at all now. But do be careful of that. That's one reason you don't want to work on a very messy surface like this. I know better than that. I just got lazy and didn't change it. Get a sip of coffee again while I'm waiting on my my brass to settle up there. I have got to take a quick break. I will be right back. Okay, sorry. Had to take a break for a few minutes, kind of let the room air out. My husband's working from home right now, and trying to share spaces. Anyway, he had a meeting, and I didn't want to, had a video conference. I didn't want to have all the racket from that on this video and didn't want to bother him with my talking with the people that he's conferencing with, wondering what on earth's going on in the background. Alright, back at it now. So anyway, I had to open the doors up. That's what I was getting at there. I had to open the doors up for a little while to let it air out in here. I don't like to work with the doors closed, but right now we're just doing what we gotta do. Did you see that? Dropped a spot of gold. I don't like the way that happened. I feel like it needs some more of the crimson coming out through here, but I'm kind of afraid that it's going to be really, really hard to get it blended back in good, because I want the darkness more towards the middle and then, you know, coming out to lighter out here. But I don't think I can do that. I'm afraid to go back and try and do that right now, because that crimson is just so dark. It's going to overpower everything. But it needs something out here, though. Let's put some yellow. Do it this way this time. That spread out a little more than I really wanted it to, but it's alright. Can work with it. Here. I think I might risk it on this side, putting another drop of the crimson, and see if I can kind of not completely wipe out the yellow, but I might. Let's see. Juice that spit out of there. Just had a little bead of it, a little bubble of it stuck up in the thing. I did that because I kind of wanted it connected into this other. Sorry, I know y'all probably couldn't see that good. I was trying to blow it a little bit. I wanted to steer it real carefully for a minute. See, this is the difference between using the hairdryer and blowing on it. The way that came right there and made that hard edge. I think I could have kept it from doing that if I were blowing on it. It's harder to stop something like that when you're using the hairdryer. Not impossible, but it's a little bit harder. But, like most other things, it can be fixed. You can do something about it. The alcohol was drying up a little too quick right there. Well, I was trying to decide if there was even anything else that I wanted to try to do to it. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it the way it is right now. I see some things that I could go back and do and change, but I'm just not sure I want to run the risk of messing up what I've got. Although this is kind of bothering me. I may have to do something in here somewhere. Let's try... What do I want to try? I forgot. Did I even use coral in this? I've been using the salmon. I can't remember if I think I used coral somewhere in here. I'm going to try it out here. Let's try it out here. It's going to mix with that yellow, so it's not going to really be coral. But it'll be close enough. Didn't mean for that to come all the way out. I don't know if I can get that off. I'd say that is probably stained. That little spot of brass off right there that I had dripped a while ago. One more thing here, and I think I'll probably let it be. Unless I mess something else up. I've got a whole lot of jaggedy line in there that's just ink and no brass. And I kind of want to get some of that away, blend that a little better. Sorry if y'all can't see, I'm having to blow on it right now. That dryer was pushing it too much, not where I wanted it to go. Alright, well, still not exactly what I wanted, but that's a little better than it was. I feel like I may have lightened it up just a little too much in there, but this is where you have to decide, do you really want to do anything about it or not? I mean, at the risk of overworking it. And because if you overwork it, then you're just going to end up with a blob of color right here. It's going to make it a whole lot harder to fix. And see, I could come back in here and put something, but I don't really, I mean, it doesn't really need it. It wouldn't hurt just to say that there's not yellow and yellow, but it really doesn't look bad the way it is. Although now that I'm looking at it, yeah, I'm not going to be able to leave it alone. I'm going to have to mess with it. And let's hope I don't mess it up messing with it. I want to see if I can pull some of this, the orange or coral or whatever that is right there, out. So I didn't get a ton of it pulled out, but just a little bit, and I think that was enough. It gave it so that there wasn't white in here. It actually gave it just a blush of color right there, which is just fine. Rub that little bit of gold off there, or brass, piñata brass. All right, well, that is it. I don't know which way looks better. I can't tell which way looks better to you all, so that's it. You can see, you know, the nice veining with the brass, plus it's, you know, just gives it a good shimmer all over the way I did it. So that's I don't know, it's similar to the last one I did where I was mostly just blowing on it, but I did use the dryer on this one a little bit more. And I think when I do these, that's what I'll be doing, is just a combination of blowing and using the dryer. And now if you do one like this and you don't love it, you know, or you feel like it needs something, you can either go in with a little tiny liner brush, a little super fine brush, and you can, you know, paint out some gold on the ink veins that are in here where maybe there's not as much brass as you would like there to be, or you can use the tiny liner brush, or I don't have it, some kind of something that you can do dots with, and just take alcohol and make tiny little dots here and there, or out here, or however you wanted to do it. You could embellish it a little bit if you don't like it the way it is. Before I go, I did want to say thank you again to all my new subscribers and all my longtime subscribers and in between, and even those of you who watch without subscribing. I appreciate it. I hope that these are doing you all some good, that, you know, maybe you're learning a little bit that you didn't know before, picking up some tips that can help you. I am going to do a giveaway when I get to 5,000 subscribers, and I have decided to do 2 prizes because it was fairly evenly split. Seemed like what people wanted. The offer was either a painting or some painting supplies, and you know, I had asked you all to let me know what you would prefer. So what I decided to do is I'm going to do a painting and supplies as 2 separate prizes. 1 prize of a painting, 1 prize of some supplies. And I will have, as we get a little closer, I'll give you all the rules when it's time and everything, but I have got to wait and see because I'm getting ready to put in orders from places I get things from. to get the supply prizes, and I need to make sure that they get here in time. I don't want to tell you all what's going to be in it because I have no guarantee that it's going to get here before time for me to do the giveaway. So I'm going to wait until I make sure I have those in hand, and then I will let you all know what the prizes are going to be. But it'll be worth your while to enter anyway, and I will let you know when I'm gonna start it and how to enter once it gets a little bit closer to time for that. Alright, well, once again, this has been a tremendously long video, and I am sorry for that, but it is a little simpler for me to do it this way, and I feel like maybe I can turn videos out a little more often too. I'm sorry I had such a long break there recently. I was not having time to do anything. So, well, it's not anything that had to do with painting or anything fun like that. So, alright, well, thank y'all again, and I will be back with you sometime soon. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.